while at Arby's in Hudson, Ohio.
Enjoy your day.
That's not stuff. I want all my money.
We're giving you your refund, sir.
Yeah, I understand. My refund, he can't even give me the right change.
What was your order?
It was a double. It was a Coke. Okay.
You don't even remember your order? It's not right.
It's a number one, $9.49. It was $9.60-something. And he's gonna try to give me $6. Fuck you.
Okay, you will have serious problems, sir.
Yeah, you have a serious problem. You don't know how to run a place.
Oh, I don't? And you don't
No.
know how to be a decent human being.
That's correct. I'm not.
Exactly. We
You're
all
damn
see
right.
it, you fucking asshole.
You believe this?
Do you believe
Hey man,
that?
I'm not involved, brother.
Do you guys hear this, man? What the fuck did I do wrong, huh? And I'm trying to serve all you guys. Be fucking thankful or cook your own fucking lunch.
Hey, fuck you, bitch!
Tell me something I don't know, sir.
I'll call the police and have them come and give me my fucking change. Yeah, let's see the fool that you got running this place.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the
You
fuck
are a
up.
rude bitch.
Yeah, I am. Get fucking used to it.
Oh,
I know. I'll be happy to call the cops, sir.
Call.
I'll be happy.
Call.
Call.
Please
What's
call.
your name?
call him.
Call the police. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'll
What's
wait.
your fucking name? What's your name?
My name's Jeff.
Jeff, what's your last name?
I'm not giving that to you. Call the police.
Jackass. I mean,
Call the police. Believe this nonsense? You're just staying on this side. I understand.
So we have a screen full of orders.
You never seen nothing like this nonsense, have you? I know, me either. But that's when they hire $12 an hour people.
I see it on YouTube or TikTok or something.
It's crazy,
I
isn't it?
never see it in person, so it's the first time for everything.
Of a galaxy near you, this is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Nope.
nope,
I'm
that
not.
is not Doug. That is Renee, y'all. Welcome, Renee. How you doing? Excellent. Any thoughts on this jackass? Jack. Actually, his name's Jack, right? Jack the Jackass. Is that
So
what
he's
it
a
was?
jackass.
Right. He is.
Well, the manager's my hero.
Yeah.
That needs to happen more often.
She was not. Yeah, is this a secret menu item? I don't know what he was ordering. But I like how she was like, no, motherfucker, fuck you. Like, at some point, pushback needs to be applied. He did not need to call her a bitch. So, at that point, all bets are off. And you get called what you get called.
And you know what? You can't. Your employees work harder and don't call in as much if they feel like management has their back. Because I've worked in fast food. I had people like, the little thing shows you what your changes do. He misunderstood what I said, and he wanted what he thought I said, but it was on the screen. We're doing this whole thing. He took what I had given him and threw the coins in my face. My manager didn't have my back. It was like, oh, well, shit happens.
And you were out of there soon thereafter, or
Pretty soon thereafter, yeah.
whenever you could, of course, because it's.
I had that job because I was told, I was 17 years old. I was told, you get a job. You want money, you get a job. And then my mom quit for me because they called on a day I had off and I was out of town. And they said, we're just calling to remind Renee that she's on the schedule for X time. And my mom goes, that's funny. Do you usually call your employees 10 minutes or half an hour, however long before their shift starts? Because I know for a fact she had today off, and they went back and forth. My mom said she quits, and then she called me and she's like, if you want to keep the job, you should call back. And I was like, oh, I don't. Thanks, Mom.
That's some classy shit. She quits. Well, what I'm not quitting is drinking beer, and I have this Imperial Anti-Hero. I think I had one last week.
Ooh, it's pretty.
Big, juicy. Actually, really not really that juicy. Really more piney. IPA. It's a big one, and I need it for this week. This week's been crazy. What do you have in your glass, Renee?
I have Here's the problem. My husband made it for me, so I don't know what kind of whiskey is in it. I just I'm blurred and I don't know why. Okay. It's Fever Tree Blood Orange Tonic with some bourbon in it, but I don't know what brand it's in. I only have
Husband,
bourbon in the house, so it's a good bourbon.
husband made.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It was on last week. Okay. Yep. I can't even remember last week. And was just on an episode of Steal This Beer. Yeah, it does sound delicious. Husband made that's also really nice. I like that.
He could be he could be like a professional mixologist.
Wow.
He's so good. So yeah.
That is excellent. We're just gonna be here for a little bit, y'all. Doug is on vacation somewhere. I actually don't even know the details of it. That's what Renee and I were talking about. I asked Renee if I was rude that I didn't know where Doug was tonight. Because I'm just at the stage, y'all, where I've always had this kind of thing about me, Renee, where some details are just fuzzy for me and I just let them be. Like
Yeah.
if I don't need to know where Doug is, then I don't really need to know where Doug is. So
Right.
that I almost feel that like it's just too much information. I got the point that I got was that he's not going to be here. Okay. So after that part, I'm like, you go do you, have a good time. And, Doug and I are friends, so I'll probably hear about where he is anyway, if that even makes sense.
Right.
So, right. So then, like, at some point, he's going to be like, oh, my weekend was great. I went blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's what it was. And I'll remember. And then, of course, I'll ask some questions about what happened and all that, like, friends do, and I'll get caught up that way. But, like, right now, I seriously don't know where he is and what he's doing. And it's not, oh, here we go. Right. Right. Well, we know it's not Iceland. Correct. Right. What's going on, Jonathan? How you doing? So, Renee has stepped in, and we didn't have a guest, so I didn't really push for one. So I just thought Renee and I would just have a cool conversation here tonight, and we would have kind of a BIB light tonight, and kind of like a holiday show because we have Thanksgiving coming up. But I do want to give a shout out. I do want to talk some pop culture things. And I know you're great at this stuff.
I'm down for whatever.
I just want to give a shout out to outgoing Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Her legacy will always be, in my personal opinion, partisan related. And you're either going to, and a lot of people, Democrats, don't really like her at the end there for sure. But it's always going to be marred by, in my opinion, misogyny and partisanship. And those are two things that will ultimately, I think, people will talk about her legacy. But I want to talk about her in a positive manner at this point, because she was a strong woman in a fucking badass position. And, no matter, a woman in that type of position, that high up, is always going to be damned what she does and damn what she does. So it's never going to be a cut and dry thing where, hey, everybody's going to love her. No, but this woman could rally votes. If your job as Speaker of the House is to get people to vote, she did it. And she did it great. And she did it under 4 presidents. And I just don't see that out, especially from Democrats. I just don't feel the love this week from that. And I'm just, even from Democrats, I don't feel the love. Of course, I'm not going to get it from the right, and that's fine. They can do whatever they're going to do. But like, I just don't feel the love. And, given what her and her family has been through, especially with her husband and that lunatic, and then all the conspiracy theories, and then you got stupid Elon Musk saying dumb shit. You got all these people saying dumb shit. I'm just tired of the dumb shit. I'm really, really, my fuse is, I don't know. I got to defuse this. Holidays are coming. So I just got to diffuse it. I really do, Renee. But I just wanted to shout that out. And then I wanted to give you a platform as a woman and as a big time feminist to talk about this.
Well, I think it's interesting because, I mean, you hit all the high points, right? Like, a woman in any position of power is going to get shit on. It's kind of like, what happened with Hillary Clinton, right? Everyone's like, oh, she's got to run. She's got to run. She's got to run. You got to run for president. And then once she did, everyone was like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
it's okay to be given something. It is not okay to ask for something, right? And I think that's at the heart of a lot of it. Um, and I think, you know, like you say, the partisan stuff, like Democrats have not delivered on a lot of the things that people care about because of the partisanship and the wedges and everything else. But it's always easier to look at what isn't happening than it is to go like, well, where did we make progress?
Mhm.
And I think she's borne the brunt of that because misogyny. It's much easier to point to somebody you already don't like because your internal biases and who's been in that position for so long. Presidents come and go. Other Congress people have come and gone, but she's been there the whole time. So it's easy to be like, oh, well, it's her problem.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. So we don't really talk that much politics. Like sometimes we skirt around it, but sometimes we hit ahead. I just wanted to give that shout out to her. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Elon Musk. No, I don't want to talk about him.
No, let's not.
No, I don't want to talk about it. God, it's so annoying. But the imminent Twitter demise story has kind of been funny. I don't know how connected you are with Twitter, but in the past like 24 to 36 hours, there's been this environment that Twitter is going to die soon.
I
So
mean, I've been
people,
rubbernecking.
what's that?
I've been rubbernecking because I like.
Okay, so you saw it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you felt it or saw it, and it's really, to me, it gives me more of a feel of Twitter overreacting, which Twitter loves to do. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I just feel that there's an overreaction element of this that we're just like, oh man, what's going to happen if this goes away? So that kind of like wave like took over Twitter, and now we got people talking about Mastodon and going back to Facebook, but that's boomer hell and all these different things. And I just think it was funny. It's almost like a drive-by like train wreck, and I just gotta watch it. I don't know. You said you've been rubbernecking it. What has been your thoughts on this one?
Well, so I've been enjoying seeing this. I gotta say, okay, I don't like Elon Musk. Yeah, exactly. I don't like him. It's like, you know, there
I
was a
love
bit
it.
there when he came on the scene where everyone was like, oh, he seems cool.
Yeah.
We all got over it. I mean, most of us got over it.
Mhm.
So I've been kind of enjoying like the massive missteps, right? And the thing of like, we're gonna get rid of all the stuff we don't need, and then people can't log in because it turns out you need it.
Right.
Like, we're gonna have the most toxic workplace ever. You're either in or you're out, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm out." Like,
Right.
that stuff has been enjoyable. But my favorite, I just pulled this up while you're talking because I saw it today and I sent it to my husband. He's still bragging about how we just hit another all-time high in Twitter usage. Let that sink in. Like, he's so proud of himself. And a guy called Ryan Mack replies, "People gather in my yard to watch my house burn. Me, wow, I've never had this many visitors before."
Right. Yes. I saw someone else say something like that. Like, yeah, when the house is burning down in the neighborhood, everybody's out watching it. You know what I mean? It's like right. So, one of my favorite thing was that he fired he fired the guy who was in charge of the badges to get in.
Yes.
So then they had to call the guy because they locked themselves out. Like, this shit is just, you can't make this up.
Funnier. It was because he made a statement that they were going to, like, basically nobody could get in with their badges. Like, we're like shutting down and reopening, whatever, right? It was a plan to shut it down. But he didn't like think about the fact that he had fired the guy who could turn it back on. It's beautiful. It's tear to my eye. I love it.
Can we rehash real quick to that whole, these self-made genius people who him and Ye or Kanye are the two ones that come out and say like, we're geniuses. And then they do the stupidest shit ever, Renee. And I'm just like, these self-appointed geniuses have Einstein rolling in his grave because that man was actually a genius. Okay, that's what it was. Now, you know what I mean? Like, these self-appointed ones, though, are just a fucking hot mess. Most of them.
I don't have a whole lot to say about Kanye because I was never like a huge fan of his music. And then like you couldn't say that for a long time. You were not allowed to say that. People just come at you. If you're like, oh no, I think other rappers are better. They're like, oh, burner at the stake. Like,
Right.
but
Right.
with Elon Musk, it's particularly interesting because self-made my ass. Like you've profited off of like horrible mining practices and the freaking apartheid. You didn't make yourself.
No.
Daddy didn't even make himself. Daddy made money off of everybody else's back.
Right.
Like, you ain't special. And then, you know, if you follow his career, he has not invented anything. He hasn't done anything but throw money at people who can make things.
Right. And he didn't find Tesla. So he's not the founder of Tesla. He's just the CEO, y'all. But there's this area where people think that he founded Tesla. Nope. Didn't happen. Another thing.
I know that.
He did find SpaceX. That's his. Got it. But SpaceX is funded by me, you, everybody's watching, government subsidies.
Mm-hmm.
But then Elon goes and runs around saying that the government owes me money for Starlink and Ukraine. What, motherfucker? You need to go get a credit. You need to go get a credit collector. You need to go get a debt collector because right after he said that, Renee, there was an announcement that like he just got a new round of funding for SpaceX from NASA, and NASA is the American government. So it's just really funny how this man skates both ways, and some people, like especially his fanboys, do not see it. And before we even get to that, like, or I'm sorry, I'll let you jump in, and then I got another one for this.
Okay. It's funny how people think like if you put the money on something that you're the reason it happened and therefore you are the genius, right? My husband's been having me watch this ridiculous thing on Netflix of this guy who's like an amateur archaeologist. He's a journalist and he believes in the lost city of Atlantis. And I think we're getting to aliens. Like I feel it in my bones. He's going to say aliens like any day now on this show. And the reason my husband was interested in it is because he said, you know, like we know this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
He was an archaeologist before he immigrated to the US. So he's like, we know this guy's crazy. Like we know that. But he puts all kinds of money into trying to prove it. And then they find stuff that is kind of groundbreaking and remarkable. And mainstream archaeology takes the groundbreaking cool stuff and like figures it out. And he goes, this proves that the lost city of Atlantis exists. And it's like, no, buddy, it doesn't.
Right.
You just have money. You're not a genius. You just have money.
Right.
You don't have to be smart.
Right.
Money.
Right. Well, how much money does he really have? And I was going to get to that because, you know, like I was telling my boys, he doesn't have $44 billion. It doesn't work that way. Right. He doesn't have it in his like wallet. He doesn't have it in his bank. He has it in shares of another company. So like, is that even, and then he doesn't even have all that because again, he had to take investors on to get that money. So it's all this big, is it even real type of thing? And Trump is another one like that. Like, is Trump's money even real? Because half of it is inflated and up to like appraisals and all these different number things. And it's on paper and it might look good, but like, how do you like Renee, Kanye, again, back to Kanye. Yeah, Kanye, remember he's like, oh, he's worth $2 billion. And then all of a sudden, like 3 days later, he was worth $400 million. How does that happen if that money was real? Again, if it was real, it would be like right here in my room right here. You know what I'm saying? And I would have the money. I could literally physically, but like, it's just so crazy how all this is like paper mache, house of cards bullshit.
If you or I were to get a net worth estimate, right? They would take into account like all the stuff that you own. And if you theoretically sold all of it, that's how much money you would have. But then you wouldn't have a house. You would like you and me, like that's where our net worth goes, you know, like
right.
You wouldn't have a house, you wouldn't have a car, you wouldn't have an iPhone, whatever. And then you have to use all the money you got to like buy a house.
Right.
Yeah, my husband and I were just talking about this. Like net worth is such a joke because you either can't get to the money, or if you could, you would spend that money getting back the thing that you sold to get the money.
Right. Right. But y'all will be out in the freeway out there somewhere in the desert if y'all sold your house, sold your cars, sold, you know what I mean? Like, right, liquidated everything.
Well, and that's the other thing. My house, when I bought it only 3 years, because we had like a crazy housing boom, right? So when I bought it 3 years ago, it was a reasonably priced home, and now it's insane. And it is that thing, right, where it's like, yeah, but if I sold it, I'd have to move to like Wisconsin, like, or Indiana or something. I have to uproot my entire life. Like, that money isn't
Don't
real.
move. Don't move to Wisconsin.
Oh, I'm not going to. It's okay.
Okay, I'm trying to save you here. But no, I get your point though. Right. No, you would have to. Right. It's like, I live in Wisconsin and our house is like, inflated. And I asked the family, y'all ready to sell this house because we can get a big money for it? And then my youngest, who's astute, was like, right, but then we have to go buy another overpriced house. Correct, young man. That's why we're not selling our house. You got it. I love it. 16, he's got it. It's great. It's great. Yeah, JHG didn't even know that Elon didn't create Tesla. Yep. But he did do SpaceX. That's his thing. So and I wouldn't call that brilliant. I would just say it was forward thinking. And it was smart actually, because again, he saw a spot to where he could run his lane, and he also saw a spot where also Tesla, heavily government is subsidized too. They're both heavily, and then this is the same man running around raging against the government when all his wealth literally kind of comes from it. So this is really interesting. Really, really interesting.
Conservatives say they don't want the government to spend money on stuff. They mean, I don't want the government to spend money on stuff I don't like.
Right.
They can totally spend money supporting my company.
Yep. Oh, I like that word, skedaddle. That's fun. Yeah, graded promises, partially delivering, Hyperloop. Yeah, and with this with this Twitter thing, this man has not remained consistent on any issue. He's flip-flopped on every single one. I dare y'all to find me one issue that Elon said he was going to do before he got Twitter that he's doing now. One. I just want one.
Well, that's it. It's the same thing, right? It's like when I say you should be able to say whatever you want, I know there's a limit to that, but I think everyone will just fall in line. And he learned the hard way.
Yep. Hyperloop, would it be way more important to our infrastructure than SpaceX? Yeah. Yes. There you go. Yes. On the surface, yes. But the thing I want to remind everybody about generally, because I'm a space science guy, I love the shit, is that space science brings us many inventions and many things that enhance our society that we don't inherently can't point to. There's many different things that happen there that make our lives better ultimately, and going to make the future better, that we can't really just pinpoint. It's not just, like everyone's like, I don't like billionaires who have their own rockets. Well, I'm with you, but at the same time, a lot of that science is something that we could apply to a lot of things, and who knows where we're going to be even in 50 years as far as space exploration goes. So sometimes it's hard to feel as just a normal, regular, boring, ordinary ass human, him shooting up rockets. How did that affect us? Whereas Hyperloop, yeah, you get in that motherfucker and then you can get from LA to San Francisco in what, an hour and a half, Elon said. And as someone on the West Coast who deals with that shit, Renee, first off about how that would be amazing if you could get to, if you can get in LA or wherever you're at and get up to San Francisco in, an hour and a half. That would be amazing. What is that ride anyway? Like 7 or 8 or 9? What is that?
Well, so I'm a little bit south of LA, and when I go to my mom's, it's a little bit south of San Francisco. It's a minimum 6 hours, but once traffic gets into the equation, right? So like, we're going up there next week for Thanksgiving. We get to leave a day early because when you leave on Wednesday, the most heavily traveled day of the world, or in the US, sorry, it takes you an eternity. Like you die and regenerate and die and regenerate so many times by the time you get to where you're going on the I-5. It is this author Wayne Gladstone said there is no God on the I-5 and there's no devil either because there's no trouble to get into. It's just nothing. So I would love the Hyperloop.
Right. So would I. And by all accounts, I don't know where that project is, but again, it gets lost in this all, and that was my main criticism of Elon buying Twitter, was the fact that I think that I could care, for the record, I could give a shit less about your Teslas. I don't care. I don't think that they're special. I don't think that it's anything that I should be gloating over or fawning over. Maybe 10 years, but now I don't give a shit. Look up Mullen, y'all. Buy Mullen. I own stock in it. Full disclosure. But Mullen is just, to me, as good as an EV than Tesla. Tesla's blow up now. I don't know. Tesla's nothing special to me, but SpaceX is something special to me as a science person, as a space science guy. And I also think that helping humanity in the future, SpaceX is doing that with Artemis and all the things that they're doing with NASA and all that. So that's what my thing about Twitter is. How does Twitter fit in with all this besides fitting in with Elon's ego? It doesn't fit in with Tesla. It doesn't fit in with SpaceX. So it's just completely some little fun game that he wants to play. And it's going to really ultimately hurt his other businesses in the long run, in my opinion. And Tesla's already on a decline. The stock price is overpriced. It's just a whole ass mess. Y'all can love y'all Teslas. I don't give a I can't say it enough, Renee, how I don't give a fuck about you and your Teslas. You can shove them all up your ass, Elon Musk. And it's great because this is on Twitter too. So Elon's all about free speech. So yes, I am just exercising my free speech on his wonderful platform that he paid too much for, and he's never going to get that money back. Never, ever, 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 ever. And I love it. I think it's great.
I will say it's an allergy sufferer. One thing I want from Tesla into other cars is there's like an add-on you can buy with a Tesla that basically makes your car like completely allergen and pollutant free.
It's wonderful.
I can't remember what it's called. I can't afford a base Tesla, so obviously I'm not buying one that has added stuff. But man, as an allergy sufferer, I just think like on a day like today, like I don't know if you guys see me, I'm like rubbing my nose. I got tissue stuff.
Yeah.
Go sit in my car and turn that on and be like,
right. To have that
works.
Yeah.
A lot of the Tesla stuff doesn't actually work. So
yeah. And again, ideally, if y'all like it, y'all do it. I just don't give a shit about it, and I'm not going to ever really. And part of it is Elon's fault because I just don't like him. So he doesn't understand that he turns off a lot of people. He doesn't get it because again, when you're a fucking narcissist, you'll never understand that you're turning off a whole bunch of people by being that, like a lot of these billionaires just billionaire. They just go and do their thing. We don't know who they are. It's a shadowy thing. I'm not saying that that's great either, but I'm just saying for my product as a person, I wouldn't be out there screaming and hollering like he is about, oh, we need to have a red wave. How'd that work out for you, Elon? How does your red wave work out for you?
I'll say this, his first wife is Justine Musk, is a really fantastic writer. If you want to read any of her stuff, it's really great. But occasionally she'll just take questions from people and everybody wants to ask about Elon, which, fuck them. Ask her about her shit because she's a person. Like she has her own stuff. But she will basically say, like, if you want to be like him, you don't have friends. You don't have family. So I think she said that and that's why they're not married anymore. But if you think about it, it's like the only people around him are people that are involved in what he's doing, which means are people that depend on him for their paycheck. He doesn't have he's not going to cocktail parties and hearing people be like, Elon, what the fuck, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like you and I, if we did something really stupid, there'd be somebody there to be like, "What are you doing?" You know?
Right. And the way he operates too, you can see it with Twitter. He needs yes men around him. He needs that. That's how he thrives. He clearly can't have anybody who tells him anything because he just completely fires them. And that's what it was with Twitter. Like some people got fired from Twitter just for telling the fucking truth about what the hell was going on. And he's like, "Oh, you're fired." Like, okay, bye. Like that would be easy for me.
Why this thing is really important. This thing you want to get rid of is really important. He's like, "No, you're fired." And then the next day, it's like, "Oh crap, that was really important."
Right. And then he has no shame. He's been calling these people back that he's been firing. No shame, Renee.
Oh my
I
god.
would have some shame in me. Like I do have some shame in me. Like if I fired you, Renee, I wouldn't be trying to call you back because I don't know if I would want the response that you're gonna give me if it's not a yes. I don't know if I want to hear Renee after.
Oh yeah, not me. But like the guy with the cards, right?
Yeah.
My husband said, "Oh, I wonder what he charged for that." And I was like, "Oh man, I hope he was petty enough not to do it." Because like theoretically, it's a big deal. You could be like, "All right, contract me for whatever amount of money."
Yep.
Or you could be like, "Oh, sucks to be locked out of your office. Bye."
Right.
And I guess that's why I'm not a wealthy woman, because I'd choose petty over the money.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah. So real quick here, I just want to say Dog says, "Alrighty, gotta travel, get some sleep." Cheers. Yeah. Daniel says these travels. Yeah. And yeah, Mr. Dick Rocket. That's the other one, but yeah, Mr. Bezos. But yeah, Renee. So it's great having you on. It's great having a different perspective. It's great having a woman perspective. No disrespect to Doug. We're just two. Excuse my language. We're just two dicks here, and sometimes we don't have a great perspective of things. So it's great to have you here. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I guess I missed the segue here, but we were going to talk about Pelosi and kind of move into this. But one of the things that when I first met you, when I was introduced to you by Doug, is one of the things that one of the descriptors that Doug used for you was that she's an editor, she's a kick-ass writer, but she's also former military, and I thought that was like interesting. But the thing that came to my head was like, wow, she probably has some stories, and not good ones.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to tee you up because I don't know if y'all know, every time that Renee is on, there's always something going on pop culture wise, or and usually it's not good. The one night it was RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, passed. So that was a Friday. And I don't know if y'all remember that, but Doug and I and Renee literally had like a powwow before the stream on whether we were A, going to have it, and B, if Renee was going to appear, or if Doug and I wanted to do it. So we were all distraught because not only the timing and losing a legend, it happened during fucking stupid Donald Trump's reign. We knew that there was going to be some bad shit happen, like Amy Coney Barrett, and we were right. So it was just a really, really shitty day, respectfully. Right. And so then Renee was going to come on and talk about one of the things that we had teed up. One of the things I was ready to talk about was just her experiences in the military and all the different things that came with that. So I'm kind of going to tee you up today to talk about pretty much whatever you want to talk about and present this to our people here. So, again, it's a broad question, obviously, but I know that I know that you can get it down to I'm
not going to do it for 4 hours, but I could. We're good.
Yeah. Real quick though, yes, Tony, yes, absolutely. Despite the obstruction, partisanship, misogyny, sexism, all that stuff that was wrapped in. Because again, we, you know, at this point, like she's been there for what, four presidencies, and we just see like, you know, what's in our memory is just the short term recent stuff, but we're not going back to, you know, Clinton and you know, was it so it was Biden, Trump, Obama, okay, and Bush.
Yeah.
So, you know, we weren't even talking about the Bush years where, you know, people were way less aware and, you know, all the MAGA people want to go be great again and go back to that misogyny and shit. But that's when, you know, I mean, she's been doing it for 4 decades, as we noticed. So,
well, the other thing I wanted to mention about that too, is I don't know if everybody's aware of this, but this was planned way back because she understood the importance of having new, young, fresh perspectives. So she planned to resign even before all the stuff in her personal life and all of that came up, so that a younger person with fresher perspective could take her place. And I think that's a level of self-awareness that very few people in power have.
But they were trying to push her out. They were trying to push her out before too.
Yeah,
the AOCs and all that, actually. But that's another conversation for another time. We'll leave that. But women in the military. Where do you where?
Well, I guess I'd start by saying when I served, and I think these numbers are still pretty close, but probably changed a little bit. But when I served, I was in the Marine Corps, and at that time, less than 1% of the entire Marine Corps were women. And I would, because at the time all women trained at the same place. So when men join the Marine Corps, if they live east of the Mississippi, they go to South Carolina for boot camp, and if they live west of the Mississippi, they go to California. But all women went to South Carolina. And so we would go through the East Coast boot camp, combat training, all of that.
Parris Island.
Yes. So you could show up to work when you're done with all your training and end up working with somebody who has literally never laid eyes on a woman Marine. Like we were a fairy tale. Like it's just, and I don't think people really understand how that affects people's ability to view the other, right? Like if I'm going to use this example, Greg, and you could just call me out if I'm wrong, right? But like, if you're the only Black person in a white neighborhood, you know that.
Yeah.
And if you're the only Black person that this white person has ever met, you really know it. You know, like, because it's there's a lot of ignorance, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of, you know, whatever. And it's kind of like that because these people had never, ever even seen somebody in that position. And it's a very macho, even in comparison to other branches of the military, it's very macho, like very focused on performance. And it's difficult, right? And then across the board in all services, there's a lot of sexual assault. There's endless sexual harassment. There's just, you name it, it's a problem. And then women get out and they just kind of take it with them. When I've been doing veteran activism for about 6 or 7 years now, and I would meet women all the time who they had stepped foot in their first like VA support group that week, and they were Vietnam veterans because they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Oh, well, I didn't ever call myself a veteran. I didn't know I qualified for anything. I didn't know anybody would help me or give a crap about me. I had so many negative experiences. I just wanted to leave it behind. And you still see that. It's better. It gets better every day, but it's not good still. That's my opinion. People might disagree. My husband and I debate it because he's still active duty. So he sees the changes live. And then I see him like when people get out, right? But a big
but also though, real quick, obviously your husband is a male. So he has that look. With all due respect to him and his opinion, it's still a male opinion. and a male experience. I'm sorry, I have to say that.
Well, I'll give him credit. He will come to me and talk to me when he has like, if there's an issue with, we're going to hire a contractor and we've got 2 women candidates and like, you know, whatever, or because they're veterans, or I've got this issue with some of my Marines and one is a woman, like he'll come to me and talk it through with me. And sometimes I got to chew him out a little bit, but he takes it
Mhm.
and he
Right.
absorbs
Right.
it and he applies
Right.
it.
Right.
But yeah, but I would say this, the main thing that I think people don't understand about women veterans is a lot of women get kicked out and have no access to their veteran benefits and are suffering from PTSD, they're suffering from military sexual trauma, all of this. And if you follow the thread backwards, the things that they were doing that led to them being kicked out was a result of being in trauma from military sexual assault.
Mm.
Now, if they don't tell anybody, nobody knows. Like you're just getting drunk, you're getting in fights. They don't know why you get kicked out. I get it, like from that side. But we now know it's a problem. So what are we going to do about it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't see him doing anything about it. That's my experience right now. That's something I'd love to see change. And I also wonder, we know too, I'm going to throw it out there, we know that in the military, men are often victims of sexual assault as well.
Mm.
Because there's a lot of men. So, you know, if it's the majority men and there's a problem, then men are going to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it makes you wonder how many men are getting kicked out who are even less likely to come forward and say this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So you just don't know. And it is something I think that is like, it just needs a lot more attention brought to it. Because I don't think people realize if you get administratively separated or you get any discharge other than honorable, it is very difficult to get your benefits. And if you can't get your benefits, you can't get the mental health care that is provided by the VA, which for a lot of people is, for a lot of veterans, is the best mental health care they could get because it deals specifically with military issues. And just for example, if there's any women vets out there and you don't know this, if you are suffering from military sexual trauma and you file your claim, they have to provide you with free counseling, therapy, medication, everything until your claim gets processed. And there's challenges based on that. I'm not saying the VA is great. Like they'll put it on the top of your file so everybody knows, like it's not great, but you're entitled to it. And if you are in crisis, you can get that help. But because the majority of veterans are men, if we all close our eyes and I say, picture a veteran, like you're probably picturing a very specific thing. And it's probably a white dude, right? So we don't get that information to women. Women don't know that they could go to a vet center, which is run by the VA, and find a women veteran support group. They don't know that they could get help filing their claim and actually be compensated and receive medical care or mental health care for mental and physical injuries due to sexual trauma, not just, well, I didn't go to combat, so I don't rate anything. That's not how it works. So that's the thing I think needs a lot of awareness brought to it. And women veterans are, I don't remember the number right now, but it's something like 2 to 3 times more likely to succeed in suicide than civilian women. And a lot of that comes down to they come home, they take over the family, right? They're going back to being a mom and they just want to, okay, like I'm not going to let my kids see it. I'm not going to let my husband see it. I'm just going to pick up my life and go. And that's never good, no matter who you are. You could be anybody. It's not good. So that's the kind of stuff I think. Women have been in the military for over 100 years, officially. Unofficially longer than that. And we haven't caught up to that. We still act like it's like new and novel and strange that women are in the military. And that I think is where a lot of the problems for women in the military on active duty and women veterans come from.
Yeah, and we saw this in civilian life with Me Too, the Me Too movement, and how many women just feel that it's an uphill battle. to get any kind of justice for any of this. So then they just make the decision that is just more important for them personally to move on, and then they'll deal with it. But some of these things, most of these things, in my opinion, I don't know if I don't know who is strong enough to just internalize it and deal with it, as you said,
Even if
and
you are, right? Even if you are, because I'm like, people do
even
it.
if you are,
People do
yes,
it every day, right? It's true. I know this because it's not like you can, the average person can get therapy paid for. Like, if you don't have money in your pocket, you're probably not getting therapy in America.
no,
So a lot of
and
people,
women,
but they'd be
yeah,
happier and healthier if they didn't have to. That's where it comes down to, right?
yes, 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 yes. And then the stigma of it all too. To me, I've never been in the military, but I feel that stigma wise, that's probably not a really good place for. You know what I mean? Like stigmas really, go so far in environments like that. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah. And like, I've seen it happen when I was on active duty. I saw a woman, Marine, um, allege that she had been raped in her barracks room. It went through the whole unit, like within 10 minutes, everybody knew. And everybody's got an opinion on whether or not it really happened, whether or not it's really her fault, whether or not this, whether or not that. And by the close of business that day, she retracted it. Now, who knows? Maybe this is one of these infinitesimally rare situations where she was making it up. I doubt it very much.
Yeah, yeah.
But the pressure was so strong. Everybody already knew. Everybody was already, well, what was he doing in her barracks in the first place? The women's barracks completely separate from the men's barracks. All of this conversation. I had an incident of sexual harassment that I reported and became part of a massive case against a staff NCO who had sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, you freaking name it, women Marines, his wife, his mistress.
The whole game.
I was one of the smallest witnesses in this case as far as like what I had to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
But it followed me so many different places, and I just had to keep explaining because all attorneys are officers. So when you're like an E2, you're a private, a PFC, and you're just out like getting some training, and a lieutenant colonel calls you, your squad leader wants to know why the hell lieutenant colonel is calling you. And you have to, have an answer. And the easiest answer is always the truth. So you're like, well, So that combined with a lot of the training, a lot of the discussion about this that women get in training is you have to pick what kind of woman you're going to be, at least in the Marines. Are you going to laugh at dirty jokes? Are you going to be one of the guys? Or are you going to draw a line and say, don't talk to me that way? Because if you laugh at dirty jokes and then they cross the line, it's a lot harder to claim harassment, basically. Mm-hmm. And you hear that, and you hear about people, oh, well, these women Marines, they've got a complaint against a male at every place they've ever been stationed. Now, in reality, that's a problem with the Marine Corps, right? That's probably true. They probably had something happen at every unit they had been to, but it is said to you like, and that's how you know she's full of shit. So what happened to me is I had that incident and it followed me. And then I got to a new place and I had a more severe incident and I didn't report it because I had seen how that played out. I had heard, well, if I have an incident here and an incident here, then no one will want to work with me. It's going to affect my career. I won't have any friends because 99% of the Marine Corps is male. If none of the dudes want to be friends with you, you don't have friends. Right. It's really complex. It's a cultural issue. Now, I've been out for almost 13 years. Mm-hmm. Shit has changed. But I would say in some cases, military culture can change really fast because you do what you're told. And in some cases, it changes really slow. So, for example, I've been to Marine Corps balls and seen gay couples at the ball. One's in their blues and one's in their formal attire. And it just blows me away because when I was in, absolutely not. Don't Ask, Don't Tell was still in, whatever. Mm-hmm. So that move fast, at least the Marine Corps where I have eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Sexism isn't moving fast. It's moving slow. And that just is what it is. And that's not to say that gay, lesbian, and other types of queer people in the military don't face their own issues, because they absolutely do.
We still do, right?
But the fact it's not just that you are allowed to bring your partner if they're same sex, but that you bring your partner and everybody just kind of leaves you alone. You get to drink and have fun just the same way as if your partner was the opposite sex. That was a huge moment for me when I saw it. I cried the first time I saw it. I felt like, and you know, I don't know these people, so I'm not going to say anything to them. And I'm just like trying to hide in the corner and like, you know, I don't want to make it weird. But, you know, so it's weird overall, because like I said, some things move really fast, some things move really slow, and other things like being queer in the military, it's doing both at the same time.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know, but I do veteran activism, so it's a little bit easier to talk about the vet side. Like, I can't affect change in the Marine Corps anymore.
Right.
But I can
help the people coming out.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to see if you wanted to speak to Daniel's comment here. If you know anything about that, or
I don't know if that's true, because I never sought mental health assistance while I was in. I do know that a lot of people will make a point of paying out of pocket to go off base so that they don't have to see the chaplain or see a mental health professional on base, where those lines could get blurred and something could happen. And just from my activist side, I want anybody wondering about this to know, if you are a veteran or active duty and you have a local vet center run by the VA and you go to receive counseling there, they will see you for free, and you have the same confidentiality you would have in the civilian world. They will never tell your command anything. So just FYI, active duty people have access to that same way veterans do, and it will protect you. So that's what I'd say about that. Go off base or go to the vet center, but I don't know if there's coded language or not. I don't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised, because it could really mess you up. They're getting better about that too, but progress is, it doesn't happen overnight.
Deep issue. Thank you for speaking to it. Thank you for that knowledge. We're going to slowly wrap up here. Yes, it's early, but Zach's not here to complain about it.
Can I give you a link to put up real quick?
Excuse me?
Can I give you a link to put up real quick?
Yeah. Or in the chat, we could share your screen or a website or any of that. Yeah, for sure. So Daniel clarifies here. More specifically, I meant more along the lines of concerned squad mates inquiring after one situation.
Oh, you mean like amongst themselves?
Yeah.
Probably. It's probably different than it was when I was in, though, because, like, I'll use this example because it was recent, but, when everyone was talking about camping trips, and you kind of have to be like, hey, guys, if you only ever talk about camping trips the moment after abortion legislation is passed, people are going to know what you're talking about. So anything that was any coded language like that was going on when I was in is going to be completely different 13 years later, because people catch on and then it has to change, and
Gotcha. Working on this website here. It looks.
So I'll talk about it real quick, if that's okay, Greg.
Absolutely.
This is actually the organization. I'm on the board. I'm the vice president of the board. I volunteer a lot, and the mission is to end veteran isolation by connecting veterans to their community when they come back. Because obviously a lot of veterans, and especially women veterans, leave the military, and your built-in social life and your built-in friends and all of that disappears. So we are currently trying to expand more stuff specifically aimed at women veterans, but there's stuff for all kinds of veterans. A lot of it is based here in Joshua Tree where I live, but a lot of it is now virtual. So if you're a vet and you are looking to socialize in some way, get to know other veterans, get to know people who will not view you any particular way just because you're a veteran, check out Milltree. And then also we have a resources tab, and that's got all your stuff like your vet center, your suicide hotline, Disabled Vets of America, like anything that can help you with something other than making friends, which Milltree is more about making friends, building community. We can also point you to things that might be a little bit more urgent. They can help you with the more urgent stuff.
Gotcha. Is Milltree, is that a nonprofit?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So anything that you donate, because I see a big donate button, anything that you donate is, of course,
Deductible.
tax-free and deductible and all that wonderful
As
stuff.
a board member, I think I'm supposed to say, please consider us for your end of year donations when thinking about your taxes.
Yes. And next Tuesday is Giving Tuesday, y'all.
Oh yeah.
So yes, so that's a good day to be intentional about your donations, especially to national nonprofits. And then we have, or were you gonna say, Renee?
I was just gonna say also, if you're a writer, you can come to the Zoom that I host every Monday, which is a writing group, and it's a really great group of both veterans and civilians getting together to share our work and get some feedback, and it's very supportive. And there's not a lot of good writing groups in the world. This one is one of the best. So just, you can find more about that on the website too.
All right. And Charlie says, I became a stay-at-home dad because of my military wife. Thank you, Renee, for your service. Daniel says, thank you for sharing, Renee.
I want to say, sorry, what was the name of the gentleman right before that?
Charlie.
So I've been in the military, and I've been a spouse. I still am a spouse. So thank you too, because it is not easy. And in some ways I think it's harder. When I would
being a military spouse?
Yeah, because so my husband goes to work and he comes home. And if he goes on deployment, his whole world changes, right? Mm-hmm. Everything has to keep going at home. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think, man, I preferred being the one going away to the one staying home.
Right. So, especially if those kiddos are small.
Yeah.
And Charlie has 3 and he's been running around after them.
Oh man, I have 1.
They're all boys too. Yeah.
I have 1 so I can only imagine. So yes.
Yes.
Service to your wife.
Yes. And Charlie's going through, I'm not going to talk about it, but we talked on the side. Charlie's going through some things with his furnace, and his house is cold, and he had to get the kiddos out tonight. So Charlie is going through some things. So shout out to you, Charlie. Hopefully things are going to get better soon, buddy. And then Daniel says, thank you, Renee. He's not military, but my grandfather was in the Navy. I'm glad that there are services available in addition, to your organization. And a lot of these things too, sometimes people just don't know the resources are out there.
Right.
And so I'm glad we were able to talk about this and get this out, Renee. I'm proud of you as a friend for you to want to be the change that you want to see. I know it's a gimmicky, sometimes cheesy, it feels like saying it, but it is the real truth. And we are
days for a reason, right?
Yes. So and Charlie's like, it is not easy. Gave everything up for it, but I have no regrets. Changed my life for the better. All boys. Yes, all boys. Right. Oh man, Charlie. All the best to you and the fam.
Oh.
Yes. I love all y'all. It's funny. Daniel, you'll find this Daniel will probably find this really interesting. I don't know why I'm doing this now, but Daniel is you're such a good friend, dude. You're such a good friend. I wish you lived near me, but Daniel is one of these wonderful people, Renee, that sends cards every Christmas, and I look forward to it. We don't send cards, so I almost feel like when I get Daniel's card every year, I almost feel like I feel bad because I just don't send cards. But literally within arm's length of my desk, I'm going to show you because I'm not even going to leave the screen. I have Daniel's wonderful family here, and I'm telling you, Daniel, I was looking at it earlier today, and I look at this and it makes me smile. It really does.
Those cards with their family pictures.
I fucking love it. I didn't love it. Like I used to hate it. I don't not hate it, Renee, but I used to not hate it, not
You'd be
appreciate it.
I need a picture of your kids.
Right. Not appreciate. Not. I just didn't appreciate it enough. But I look over at Daniel's family. Look at them. Look how beautiful. Look at that beautiful family, yo. Look at that.
So you
This
feel
is-
bad because you don't send cards.
Yes.
I recommend staying there though, because what I do every year is I go and I buy enough cards for the people I think should be on my list, and then I proceed to not send them, and I feel 10 times worse than if I had just not sent them. Because now, not only did I not send them, but I didn't accomplish the goal I set for myself either.
Right. And Jane, she's another one who sends cards that I never return, and I appreciate all that. I appreciate you, JHG. I appreciate you, Daniel. I appreciate y'all more than I say, more than I do for y'all. Y'all just great people. And I don't know why we're here, but we are. Fuck it. Hey, we're here because of Thanksgiving. And you know, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we get out of here is Thanksgiving. And you know, Thanksgiving gets morphed. It already gets morphed by Christmas. It really gets morphed by Black Friday, which is basically some bullshit, horseshit fucking day that is like everybody needs to go out and shop and start their fucking shit. It's just and now my kids, my boys love it because they're like, what's Black Friday mean anymore? Anyway, like we got Black Friday deals in July. Like we got Black Friday deals and what does Black Friday mean anymore? And that's what my kids say. And I'm like, it doesn't mean anything. And we shouldn't give a fuck.
Friday.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed them, Greg. Cards are always welcome. But we see and hear you about the fam. Much love to all. Much love, man. Much love. But looking at your beautiful family, almost literally, I see it every day, Daniel. Literally, it's right there. This is my desk that I sit at every day. It's just elevated because it can go up and down. It's really neat. Anyway, it's one of those elevation ones, Renee. But seeing your family brings me joy almost every day, Daniel. It really does, and I appreciate that shit. And I just wanted to let you know. I knew I was going to do it at some point, but so Thanksgiving, Renee. Yeah. What a heavy holiday if you take in the history of it. But what does Thanksgiving mean to you?
So I told you I'm going to get a little heavy, so be prepared. I'm not really a Christmas person.
Well, the preceding conversation was pretty heavy, so we're good.
It might not be as heavy as that, so I don't know. But I don't like heartwarming movies. I don't like I feel like it's like manipulating. Like, why are you trying to make me cry? Right? That's
right.
Fuck you. So I don't like Christmas because it's all heartwarming movies and music that's meant to make you all emotional. And like, maybe that's my religious trauma. I don't know, but I don't really like Christmas aside from decorating. And I love Halloween. So for me, as a kid, Thanksgiving was the winter holiday to me. Like, we're getting to the end of fall. There's no pressure. I mean, except for on whoever's hosting. Apologies to my mother. But, you know, like, she loves it. Every year, it's her holiday. If I don't go see my mother for Thanksgiving, like, I will be in trouble. Still. Okay. I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be grounded. There's no pressure. It's all like, we're just together.
Yes.
And I do think it's important to like any holiday because I wouldn't assume anybody's beliefs, but if you are not a Christian and Easter's coming up and you don't want your kids to feel left out, like, it could just be about being happy that spring has come. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be about Jesus. So for me, Thanksgiving is like, here's a reminder to take stock of the things that you should have been grateful for all year. But life is life. You get busy, you get pissy, you get angry at that guy at Arby's who's making your day at work harder or whatever, and you forget. So I like it for that. But what ended up kind of happening is as I came from a split family. So my dad's side of the family would just do Thanksgiving on Friday. So I could be at both, which was really nice. Well, I'm an adult. They're not going to dictate their lives around split custody anymore, right? So that started to go away. And then on my mom's side, my uncles started to move away with their families, and it became smaller and smaller and smaller. And about a decade ago, my dad passed away 2-3 days before Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving became the first holiday without each of my grandmothers after they passed away. So I got a whole weird thing wrapped up in like I used to love this holiday, but I kind of don't anymore. But I do like the food, and I do like being reminded to be grateful for things. So,
And how does your family celebrate it?
we go to my mom's. It's her thing. My husband, like I mentioned before, he's an immigrant. He lives in the UK. We used to switch off Christmases. It wasn't last year. Sorry, Jonathan. It was 10 years ago. We're good. So my mom got Thanksgiving guaranteed because there's no Thanksgiving in the UK. We don't have to share it with anybody. Then the UK is hell for a California native in the winter. So we just kind of decided to only do Christmas at home. It's nobody's holiday. It's our holiday at home. So Thanksgiving still remains my mom's, and then my in-laws get like spring or summer when you can like exist in the UK as somebody who grew up in California and not want to die. I get really bad seasonal affective disorder. So
y'all go to the UK at least once a year? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, we used to go every other year. We haven't been back in a while because of COVID. So we're due. And
I was gonna say coming up soon. Sure.
Yeah, my in-laws are watching. I'm gonna get like a barrage of emails and text messages tomorrow. Like, so when are you coming? But
Sure. So to answer my own question real quick is I love Thanksgiving. I love the big meal. I love that. I just want my holidays to be drama free. And it's funny because what I say to my family is I will fight you so that it's drama free. Right. Of course, fighting is drama, of course, but I'm serious on a level like, we can put all of our differences aside for one day. And there have been times where me and a lady were battling up into Thanksgiving. And then we had Thanksgiving, and then we started the battle again on Black Friday. So it's literally sometimes been that way. It was only 1 year, but it was, but that is right. But I am serious as hell about making sure that at least during that one day that we just respect the family, respect the tradition. Just let's have a day where nobody is like, we can't. And that's what I'm thankful for on Thanksgiving is that like my family, my immediate family, respects that, like what I want. And it was always that way for me, Renee, when I was growing up. We always had a big feast. Grandma always put on a big feast. But what was never there was drama. And we would even have family, like, so there was times where, family falls out. We all fall out. We have times where, there's a little grind. And even if there's a little awkwardness in our family, that person would not show up. They would do their own Thanksgiving. They would get Boston Market. They would do their own thing so that they weren't like, having awkward situations at our Thanksgiving, specifically Thanksgiving. Now, Christmas was a little bit of a different thing. I remember some drama at Christmas, and that shit just annoyed me to hell. Because I don't feel that you should be, there's a certain level of, I think with all due respect, I think white people do this shit more than black people, which is y'all will just go and quote, make an appearance. Now, quote, making an appearance sometimes is drama because sometimes you don't need to make that appearance, especially if shit's not going well. You need to not make that appearance. There's no appearance that you should have to make. If you don't want to go, don't go, because I could tell if there's tension.
This is what I'll say about that, though. Is some families will punish you all year if you don't at least make an appearance.
Right.
And that's
right. And that's all bullshit. That is crap. And it's peer pressure. Right. And it's like, no. And I feel people are more obligated to do that during Christmas than they are Thanksgiving. I feel that. And then it becomes with these presents and like, y'all, no, I don't need a present from you if you're not cool with me. That's cool. We can, you know what I mean? We can do all that. And that's where Christmas gets fucked up as opposed to Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Thanksgiving, just show up. I don't give a shit about presents. I don't care if you just show up without a present on Christmas. Hell, I feel bad that I get Christmas cards from Jonathan and Daniel and I don't give one back. So I got all that. My thing is that like for Thanksgiving, that's the best part about Thanksgiving, Renee. All I want from you is a dish on the side. Like Daniel says, just bring Jeffrey's mac and cheese and we're cool. Like, right. But other than that, you know what I mean? Where I feel there's more of an obligation about Christmas. That's another reason why I don't like Christmas as much as I like Thanksgiving.
I'll tell you, because there was a weird obligation to go to my step grandparents for Christmas every year. And my mom and I didn't enjoy it. And my brother usually couldn't come. And I think that might be part of why I'm just like, Christmas. I don't want to go somewhere because I have to be there. I want to go somewhere there.
Fuck making an appearance.
So
Fuck that.
If you don't like a boundary can be, no, I'm not coming. Right?
Right.
Ooh,
right.
That's a big one. But if you really want to be there and you don't want the drama, it could be like, well, we're coming and we will be there for the meal, but we will leave to go have dessert at whatever other family member, or
Sure.
I'll go there, but I will not answer questions about my weight, my disability, how I'm voting, whatever it is.
Yep.
Like, you can set those boundaries, and if your family doesn't respect them, then you now know that the boundary you need to set is, I don't go there on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Right. I think that's important to remind people of in the holidays.
Yeah,
and there might go and just say we can talk news, weather, sports.
Yep, and there might be bigger issues too if your family doesn't understand that one boundary. There might be bigger issues that you may have to delve into. So then again, I'm not trying to delve in those on Christmas. I'll make my own ham and we'll make Jeffrey's mac and cheese. We'll stay at home, or maybe what we did too, my family did was like, so my grandmother was always the hub for all these things, and that's usually what happens. But then what we'll do is, like, there was times where my family or my mother was not getting along with her sisters or one of her sisters. So she knew that one of her sisters was going to Christmas. We would just drop Christmas Eve. And then we would be with our grandmother for Christmas Eve. And then we would probably have dinner or even bring dinner because grandma always made the Christmas dinner. So like we didn't want grandma cooking on Christmas Eve. So then we would bring Boston Market or some kind of some kind of takeout. Even because back then it was just Boston Market. It wasn't as elaborate as it is today, where you can get like full turkey meals at places and they just give you the damn thing.
Like the nicest restaurant in town too.
Right. So we would do the Christmas Eve thing, and then everybody would go for Christmas, and then we would do our own Christmas if there's going to be too much drama. And I respected that about my family, Renee. And I learned from that that I don't have to have a drama-filled holiday because you want to make an appearance or because you want to. Whatever. Like you just said, how about, Thanksgiving on Friday? We could do 2 days. I'll have some leftovers for you. Hell, I'll even make a fresh batch of Jeffrey's mac and cheese.
Right.
Because I ate half of that shit the other,
because there is none left.
right. But I just feel that sometimes, and I say that it's kind of a white thing because I hear this from my white friends, which is like, oh, I have to go to my mother's thing. I have to. I'm like, if you don't feel right about going, don't go.
Yeah.
No, maybe you could just take her out on Friday and go shopping, or maybe you can go Saturday when no one's there, or it doesn't have to be that forced thing, because forced shit isn't. No, that's just not what the holidays are about. Stop it. Stop.
See, to me, if I say I'm gonna make an appearance, that kind of means whatever the thing is. If it's a party, it's a holiday, it's whatever. I really want to be there, but I got too much other stuff going on, or I'm not feeling well, or whatever. So I'm gonna go so that I give a shit, and then I want.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm not gonna be all night. Now, if I don't want to be there, I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm too old.
Right. Right. Good. Okay. Well, thank you for that, because I thought it was more of a white thing.
I mean, it might be.
Okay. I didn't know, but I'm looking at that what?
My
No.
side of the family was all way out of state, and my father's side of the family is all Portuguese. So I don't know. We're spicy white, so it's different.
Right. So you are. So where's again? Just be vague here. You don't have to be specific. Where's your mother within relationship to y'all? Y'all have to drive there, right?
we have to drive there yet. So I live right outside of Joshua Tree National Park, south of LA. My mom lives in a little cow town right before you would hit the Bay Area in northern, like
Ooh.
where Northern California starts.
Yeah. So y'all hit the road on Wednesday. Is that what I hear?
This year we get to go on Tuesday. We're gonna have to battle that traffic. I'm so excited.
Right. Okay. My that was going to be my final question of the evening, and we were going to get out of here, which is, what does everybody do on that Wednesday before Thanksgiving? Because as a beer person, that's a big beer day or a big bar day or a big drink day. You know what I mean? Because people are like, it's the day before a holiday. Most people hit the bar at that point, hit the brewery. You know, there's a lot of shopping going on too. But a lot of people have that day off. So y'all usually use it as a traveling day, is what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah. So when my mom still lived in my hometown and before, it just had to be Wednesday every year. I go to the bar because she lived in my hometown.
Right. Okay, so okay.
I love it. We're an aioli, not mayonnaise, right?
Right. Spicy white. I love it. I almost missed that. I'm glad that those guys reminded me that you said that.
Yeah, so I go to the bar because you'd you'd have your little mini high school reunion in the bar.
Yeah, right.
We had to drive every year on Wednesday instead, and now my mom doesn't live in my hometown anymore. She lives in her hometown. She actually lives in the house she grew up in. She bought it back, which is kind of cool. But yeah.
Oh, look at this. Yep, look at this.
I met a guy and we started a relationship, and that was all bad. Shouldn't have done that.
on a Wednesday Eve of Thanksgiving.
Met him at the bar. I was like, he's kind of cute. We could do the long distance thing. Oh God.
Oh yeah. Try to kick the kids to my sister-in-laws on Wednesday.
Nice.
Have a kid-free Wednesday before I like that. I love that idea. Yeah, that Wednesday it's not like it's like, it's Thanksgiving Eve for sure. And Christmas has Christmas Eve, which is designated, but there's no designation for that. So Wednesday before Thanksgiving always seems to me like a party day, but it's also like, especially if you're cooking or, you got the responsibility. It could be a heavy cook day. It could also be a heavy, I don't try to go to the supermarket then, but it could definitely be a supermarket day. If you have to, if you're last minute or, sometimes, Renee, you don't have butter and you have everything else but fucking butter, so you gotta go.
Oh, I know. It's all the stuff that you use all the time, so you're sure you have it, and then for the big meal that counts, you're like, oh no,
I don't have milk.
Everything that we need.
Right, we're out of milk. How the fuck are you out of milk?
Vanilla extract. We don't have vanilla extract. Yeah.
Right. How do you not have butter? Come on, it's Thanksgiving. You're gonna use like 4 freaking things of butter anyway. How do you not have butter? So anyway, Renee, it's been fun. I got so we got a couple housekeeping things here. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but of course
I do.
So go right ahead.
Yeah, well, so our next episode is actually taking place right here. First week in December, right?
Yes, December 2nd, I believe.
Yeah, so December 2nd, we're going to be here. Doug and I are going to take over, and we are going to do an episode that covers the first season of The Vow, which is the documentary about NXIVM, which, if that's not ringing a bell, it's the one with the girl, Allison Mack, sex cult. They're going to court right now. It's real bad. And then if you want to hear the whole story, you got to come to our live stream the next Tuesday, where we're going to do season 2 of The Vow, which just came out. So you want to watch it ahead of time, because we don't want to spend the whole time just explaining the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But
what is it called again?
The Vow, and it's on HBO. Now, if you can't watch it, we'll give you enough to go on.
Okay.
I promise that. But if you can watch it, it's going to be maybe more fun. And then, you can come in, jump in with commentary, questions, jokes, just like you do for Brothers and Booze. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's some really weird details about NXIVM, like like midnight volleyball games. And if you want to talk to the guy in charge, you have to show up and watch him play volleyball in the middle of the night, like weird stuff. So it'll be, if you missed our launch, it's still out there. You can see it, but we're refining it. We're getting there, and we're really excited to have people participate and have fun with us. So that's where you find Cult Bar next time, is here. You just show up like you always do.
And you can find the first episode on Cult Bar YouTube. Google that, and I'm pretty sure it'll come up. And also, you need to follow Cult Bar on Twitter, and
It's
there's a
Cult Bar
Facebook group,
Show.
Cult Bar Show on Twitter,
Right.
and there's a Facebook group y'all need to search for, where Doug and Renee, I believe, hang out at least a little bit talking about it. So yeah, there's ways to find that. There's a link tree too, which I should have the link for.
Oh no.
But so there's one out there, so y'all can jump in. Nice mega episode, a couple hours y'all did.
Yes, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was a good time. And the first episode covered this crazy lady and her crazy cultish behavior and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And you can find Sins of Our Mother on Netflix, I believe. But that story is still literally evolving day by day, right? There's a court case and there's
3 episodes long, but in real
there's
life,
all kinds of craziness. Yeah.
There's
So y'all can jump in through the holiday season, and then y'all can jump back here. One episode of BIB, you're gonna show up, and this will be it. And y'all won't see my pretty face for a little bit. I'll jump on a little bit later. But so we're gonna bring that here so y'all can see it in case you missed the Wednesday or Wednesdays are tough for you. Y'all can get a little bit of a preview of it here.
It is Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is Wednesday, and feel free to catch it on replay. Doug and Renee love that if y'all would jump in live and ask questions and add like y'all do here. But if not, y'all can always catch it on replay. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I am part producer or whatever, and I help these guys do it, and I love the whole thing. I love y'all guys, and I love supporting y'all projects. So all that is fun.
The whole entire thing possible is he's being humble. You make everything, all of it. I have no idea how to do any of it. So
not the whole entire thing, but I do some things. It's cool. But there's a mutual respect and love going here, of course. And yeah, so I wanted to give you time to talk about that because without obviously without you and Doug, that would never happen. And also it's just really fun. Again, I'm not really into the cults and I haven't seen it, but I sit there behind stage like,
right. All of you get to know what it's like to be my husband if you watch the show, because he's not really into true crime and he's not really into cults, but what he gets is I listen to a podcast or I watch a documentary and we're catching up at the end of the day and I'm like, and then you don't believe what happened next, and he enjoys that part. He didn't watch the documentary, but he gets the replay and he's like, what? So,
right. One suggestion I'm gonna do here live real quick is what I would like to see too is the format now, y'all, is that they talk about one cult per show. I would like for y'all to do maybe a show where y'all talk about other cult media, like you said, podcasts,
right?
And where to find, are there cult? I mean, I'm sure there are like cult websites that have the news or different things where people can just get like info from on top of y'all's. But,
for sure, because this is born of so many people doing it in other formats before us, right? Right. Most of all is that if you're going to tune in and listen to us talk about it, that you can watch it beforehand and join in the conversation, or you're like, that sounds interesting, and you can catch it after. So our first episode was pretty heavy. The next few episodes are going to be pretty heavy, but the one that I have planned for the third episode to just lift our spirits and have a little bit of fun. The main source for that is going to be a podcast that I love called Cult Podcast. And believe it or not, there are cults out there that are just kind of fun and wacky and nobody gets hurt. And there's one that is like my favorite thing. And we're going to talk about it because nobody gets hurt. And sometimes it's just nice. Nobody
Right.
got hurt. Nobody died.
Right. Nobody dies. Nobody's manipulated. Nobody's mentally, deranged for the rest of their life or
I need some weird
changed in a bad way. Yeah. Yeah. Because, well, we always think of cults in that manner. And we should, obviously, because, many of them are just extreme, abusive
Yeah.
things. But, yeah.
I would say, even the ones that are harmless in comparison to other cults, like it's probably not a great idea to give yourself into a belief system like that that's so all encompassing, like mentally. But if it's not going to kill you, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to tell you to cut your family off, whatever. Like, I mean, people believe whatever. I think we actually said this in this episode. Whatever isn't what you believe is crazy to you, right?
Yep. Yes.
So like if nobody's getting hurt, believe your crazy stuff. I believe my crazy stuff. It's fine.
Right. Exactly. So I just wanted to make sure we got time for that while you were here. Now something for me to plug is I started a new Twitter space, and as long as Twitter's up, I'm going to be doing it, but we don't know. It's a day-to-day thing.
Great
But,
time.
So I started a Twitter space called the Soul Food Space, where Black people talk about soul food. And the first one was about Thanksgiving, and we had an historian come on and tell us about the history of Black people and Thanksgiving, because it's a complicated history. Like Thanksgiving is a complicated history, and there's a lot. Actually, I've been getting this question kind of recently in the past recent years about, quote, why do Black people celebrate Thanksgiving when it's kind of a white holiday of abuse? And the short answer is that we just like Black people are resilient, and just like everything, we make sweet potato pie out of lemonade or lemons, if that makes sense. So we're going to use that as a time for us to come together, for our family, to be thankful for everything, like you said. Be thankful for the things that we got. It's not always a victim society type thing, or we're not always lamenting that people have their fucking foot on their necks all the time. And we need a day that we celebrate ourselves, our culture, our families, and we give thanks for the things that we do have. It's not all negative. It's not all, DeSantis hate and all that. We don't like him, and he's an idiot, but we can't dwell on that. So our first one was Thanksgiving. It was great. It was last Tuesday. But our next one we're going to talk about is barbecue.
Ooh.
On Tuesday night, the 29th of November, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can follow Daddy Porter and my friends there, who all their handles are there, or you can follow the hashtag Soul Food Space. You'll be able to find us. Our friend Darren is going to pretty much help me anchor that, and hopefully we're going to have some Black barbecuers on there. We're going to talk barbecue. We're going to have recipes. We are generally we are inviting to everybody, but generally we're just going to have Black people talk. But we will have recipes. We will have questions. So white people are more than welcome to attend. If y'all want to, grab a mic and ask questions about certain things, or maybe request a recipe, we are welcoming everybody to talk about barbecue then. And then the next one after that is we're going to talk about Christmas and soul food. And then the one after that, we're going to talk about Kwanzaa and soul food. So it's going to be specifically about soul food. We're going to have a soul food space where we talk about soul food media, Black food on in media, whether it be movies, TV, podcasts. So it's going to be fun, and it's kind of an extension of Daddy Porter, because I like to talk about beer, and Black people love beer. Black people love soul food. Soul food is Black food. Everybody who doesn't love soul food, by the way. And go on, Renee. You were going to say something?
It's like a live video like this on Twitter, or is it text based?
It is Twitter Spaces are audio only. So Yep. So you get into the room, and then all you see is avatars. So you see my avatar, and then it's just audio only.
Cool.
And then what happens is there's like a speaker stage. So there's a listener section, and then if you click the ask for a mic, we let you up, and then you can speak. And then that's the way they kind of regulate, people who speak in that. So it's audio only. And it's probably gonna go for about like 2 hours. So if you want to jump in, and then what we do is they have a space where you can put links and stuff. So we will put links to like recipes,
Yeah.
and we will answer questions. So we were just you can find the Thanksgiving one on my timeline on Twitter. If you go back, you can listen to it. We talked about mac and cheese and all the different things that we enjoy as Black people for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There was a couple, definitely some crazy, crazy. I don't like the word crazy. How about off the wall things like lasagna and spaghetti, and people were talking about not having mac and cheese, which is blasphemy. I don't know how the hell you have Thanksgiving without mac and cheese, Renee.
But that's the thing, Greg, is that I've never seen it on a table. And then, but my Black friends will be talking about like a whole different kind of mac and cheese game.
Yes.
For Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh my God, why didn't anybody ever do that? Put that on my Thanksgiving table. I want it.
Right. Right. And 2 and 3 meats Darren was talking about, and 2 and 3 desserts. So yeah. So it's fun. It's a really great it's every other Tuesday, Daniel. I do the every other Tuesday is the soul food space. And then every other Tuesday is the we do a craft beer inclusion space where we talk about where we talk to people who are we talk to minorities in craft beer, whether it be women, whether it be LGBTQ, whether it be Black people, whether it be Hispanics. We talk to those kind of people that and we talk about their experience in craft beer, the good and the bad, their journeys. So we do that every other Tuesday, and then every other one is the soul food space. So there you go. Every Tuesday we got a Twitter space for you until Elon blows it all the way up. So
I hope he doesn't blow it up before I get a good recipe for chess pie.
Who?
Is it chess pie or checkers pie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Checkers pie. I don't even know what you're talking about.
I think it's called chess pie. It's just like it's a sugar pie.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna have to find the link and send it to you because I have had it. There was an amazing little soul food restaurant, like tiny in the last town I lived in, and these people had just moved to the area from the South, and
Yes.
Oh yeah, because that's the only thing about the South I really miss is the food. So I was just being blown away, and they had, I think it was called chess pie. I'm gonna have to look it up. That was the signature dessert, and it was a Black family, and they were serving up the soul food, and it would kill you if you, probably not you, because this is like, you're like, this is what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But as somebody, especially in California, there's not a lot of it around. Oh, it's like a whole nother. It's like when you find good Indian food in a place that doesn't have a lot of Indian food. It's the same feeling where you're just like, finally, the trail is here. Yeah.
Right.
It's fried chicken I want to eat. Yeah.
Yeah. They are
because you can't. Everything out here is pumpkin. The sweet potato pie is its own thing. Just because they look the same, they're not the same.
Daniel likes the set of topics that we got. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Aaron says these Twitter spaces sound like a great opportunity for white people to shut up and listen. Some of them are, yeah. Some of them are. I mean, they got a lot of Black spaces where it's just Black people talking, but there's plenty of white people listening. That's great. But many of them are, white people in there talking too. So, hey, man, bring it all, man. I love Twitter spaces. I love everything about Twitter. It's the tragic part about Elon buying it is that I've been a Twitter head. So I'm going to stick there until Elon says that he's going to start making people pay for it. And then I'm out. I'm done. I'm not paying for this. It's just not going to work. Let's see. I don't. I'll stab a person if I don't see mac and cheese. Right.
I've been missing.
Mac and cheese is not a staple at my parents' house for Turkey Day. We don't shy away from it in our home. What about aliens? I'm not sure. What the fuck are you talking about? My girl does chest pie. I walked right into that bullshit. Oh my god, I got caught. Like Zach tries to do this to me all the time, and I know better. Manny, you got me. Daniel, chest pie, Southern U.S. pie with a filling of flour, butter, sugar, eggs, and milk. The basic chest pie calls for the preparation of a single crust, flour, butter, sugar, and eggs. I've had this. I'm very should come from
say like
cornmeal,
but it's.
I didn't know it was called that.
I've heard it called like sugar pie. I've heard it called, I think, like buttermilk pie, maybe, but that's a different thing. That's a variation on it, obviously. And I'm dying. Sorry.
Okay. While we're here, quick before we get out of here, you get to pick 2 for Thanksgiving. What are you doing here?
Oh shit. Well, pecan pie for sure.
I love pecan pie. I feel like I'm the only one.
No, everybody in my house hates it, and I'm like, good, I'll eat the whole thing.
Right, I would too.
Now, between sweet potato casserole and pumpkin pie, I'm like gonna close my eyes and reach, and whichever one I get, that's the one I'm gonna eat. Because I don't know if I could choose.
Right. You all right, Renee?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we promised you an hour, and we gave y'all an hour and a half, and we got to go because Renee is having a fit of yeah. Pecan pie and pumpkin. Yep.
It's hard. It's hard, but
that's hard. Yeah, it's not. This isn't easy. There's a bunch here. Actually, it's really more about what I would throw away. I would throw away pineapple upside down cake, even though that's pretty good though.
But that's not Thanksgiving.
No, it's not. And banana pudding, I'm not sure. I love bananas, but not for Thanksgiving. But yeah,
it's red velvet after a big meal.
Red velvet's not. Red velvet more for Christmas.
Yeah, but it's like if it's made right and the frosting is the right frosting, it's just gonna sit on top of your whole turkey dinner and make you want to never get up. Don't do that.
Right. Well, Renee,
in a big meal.
Yes. And Thanksgiving is actually, it's a decent dessert day, but it's not a big dessert day. I feel more Christmas desserts. I don't know, for something. We'll get into Christmas in December. But so Renee, I just wanted to thank you for your time. Doug, thanks you. I already know. You already know, I'm sure he's thank you. We had a great conversation. I like BIB light.
Yeah.
We had a good time. And it's really light because I don't even have an outro. So we're just gonna right. I completely forgot. But I do want to thank Renee Pickup. You can find her at reneepickup.com.
ReneeAsherPickup.com.
Okay. You can also find her on, of course, we already covered it, but you can find her on Occult Bar every first Wednesday of every month. And also at not next week's BIB, but the week after. You'll be able to find her there. And I just wanted to thank you for your time. And I wanted to say, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. You travel safe with your family, Renee, because those California streets can be, those highways, man, if they're anything like y'all show us on the media, more power to y'all.
Los Angeles, so it's like
y'all crazy.
Mercies.
That's all I got. Y'all had the MLS soccer championship game and no place to park. So y'all live a different life out there. And
thank you for having me.
Honestly, I'm mostly jealous of California. I'm not like most people who think California should be cut off and sent to the Pacific Ocean. I love California. I think it's great. And those are right-wing people anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
What they think. Am I wrong for saying that?
Right-wing people who hate California and live in California would either start to like it or follow their own advice, right? Because they're the first ones to tell you, you don't like it, leave.
Right.
Like, well,
Or I love go
Yeah,
back to where you came from. And on that note, we'll see y'all next week with Mad Elf, I think, Daniel. I'm not sure, actually. I'm not sure what's next week. Y'all find out when I'll find out. Probably early next week, y'all find out. Yes, have a great holiday, JHG. And Daniel, have a great holiday. We'll see y'all really soon. Have a great holiday. Love all y'all. Cheers. Bye, Renee.